Resuming debate, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Just at the outset, I'll indicate I'll be sharing my time with the member from Don Valley East. Before I commence my address, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to thank another group that is very important, and that is my constituents. Essential workers, those who have stocked grocery shelves, convenience stores, driven Ubers, delivered takeout, and kept our neighbourhoods and schools safe and clean. I want to thank medical professionals like those at St. Joseph's Health Centre who are bravely treating those with COVID-19. Those who provide health care to the very vulnerable, people like Angela Robertson and her team at Parkdale Queen West Community Health Centre that are on the front lines of the opioid crisis. Neighbours like the ones on my street in Roncesvalles Village and so many others around Parkdale-High Park that organize to deliver groceries to people in quarantine that have tested positive. Musicians and artists in our community like Jordan Isaac, who took to curing isolation and loneliness, took that idea to heart by serenading seniors on their balconies at long-term care homes like the Elm Grove Living Centre, and those for whom seniors are part of their clientele. Organizations like the Workers at Parkdale Intercultural Association, CultureLink, Parkdale Community Information Centre, thank you for addressing the mental health and well-being of our elderly through this pandemic. Those on the front lines of the spike in domestic violence caused by this pandemic, people like Abby Ajibolade and her team at the Redwood Shelter, who are working overtime to keep women and children safe. Small businesses who, despite their own struggles to stay afloat during very challenging circumstances, who have still found time to give back to their employees, like the stay-at-home ale that was created at the Indie Ale House, funds of which go to support the employees themselves. Businesses that give back to our community through fundraising efforts, like the efforts from Bark and to provide food to frontline workers, and the efforts of CC's Pizza in Parkdale and Scout in Roncesvalles Village to raise money for food banks. To organizations that have been going above and beyond the call in addressing the critical need for food security, an issue that exists always but has been very acute during the pandemic. The most notable of which are the Tibetan Canadian Cultural Centre, which has provided the use of its industrial kitchen to Jagger Gordon and Feed It Forward so that their joint forces could deliver meals to those in need with the help of the Tibetan Women's Association of Ontario. To the advocates in my riding, Mr. Speaker, who have continued to shine a light on the need for things like climate action, addressing housing, and most recently, the continent-wide movement to confront systemic discrimination in anti-Black and anti-Indigenous racism. Thank you to people like Debbie King, Ayan Kali, and Alexa Gilmore. As the Prime Minister